Hey everyone, I just wanted to quickly go over what we covered on parent orientation night for those that couldn't attend, just so that moving forward, we're all on the same page and with all the parts and pieces of kindergarten that I could just quickly explain those and go over the reading folder and talk a little bit about what report cards will look like as well. First, just a little bit about me. This is my family, and my husband Andy got a job with Gulfstream, I think about 11 years ago, and we moved to this area. We're originally from Columbus, Georgia, and our daughter Ellie is a teacher actually in Columbus, Georgia. This is her second year as an art teacher. And then our daughter Weatherly is in cosmetology school, and Drew is a senior at South Effingham High School. So Andy and I have been married about 25 years, and we love being in this area. And then Miss Tori is our paraprofessional, and this is her family. Her daughter Bailey is a junior at South Effingham High School, and then Tristan is in pre-K at the high school and also here at this school. So just a really quick overview of things you may hear and terminology that you might hear the kids coming home saying, and just the vocabulary of our school is that we have two different sets of expectations. One is our Mustang Strong expectations, what it looks like to be a good student. That is being responsible, respectful, and safe. Those are our only three rules that we have. And everything points back to, we use this matrix to any time, that we're looking for those positive behaviors, we're looking back at those and what that expectation is. Then we also talk about what it means to be a good learner, which is, we always talk about putting on our good student hat first when we walk through the door, and then we put our good learner hat on top of it. Those are those expectations of what it looks like to be a lifelong learner. And we do a little cheer, and we talk about it just is a easy way for them to remember all those parts as they start learning what all of those parts means. Being engaged, being inquisitive, setting goals, making mistakes, and having them help you grow, giving and receiving feedback, being persistent to meet our challenges, collaborating, and teaching. So you can see we have both of these posters in our classroom, and we go over those expectations daily and what it looks like to not only be a good student but also to be a good learner. So a little more about being a good student and what behavior management looks like in our class and our school, but specifically in our class we focus on and we reward the positive. So we always want the positive behavior to be the one that everyone's focusing on, not the negative behavior. And 9 times out of 10, when we're focusing on the positive, the students who may not be making the right choices are going to turn it around and make the right choices. So we reward them in a few ways. There's some personal rewards. They earn staying points throughout the day. And within our school, that is in a digital platform. So for kindergarten, I really like for them to have something tangible. So we use little tickets that we hand out. We still call them staying points, so that they're physically getting something in their hand when they earn them. There's times also throughout the day that they will scan their driver's license and they're able to earn points that way too. But if I'm the one giving them out, I'll always just give them a ticket, and then they're able to then we have a coinciding like clip chart ladder basically that they're using, so that every time they earn a point, they're also physically moving their name up that ladder. And the goal is to, if they earn more than 3 staying points from me within a day, then they're able to move all the way up to my necklace, and which is the goal. They will always want to be able to do that and get something out of the treasure box. So they are earning those personal rewards. We also have positive behavior Plinko that we use, so at the end of the day I'll pull out some staying points from the bucket, and those friends will be able to get something from Play Plinko and get something, their reward that they get from that. And then we also, if they clip all the way up to my necklace, then they're able to play no matter what, even if their name's not pulled. And then they get those PBIS rewards, and they're able to go to the Stang store for the school. So you probably saw the little stickers that came home in their folder, and those are ones that they chose to buy. So we have certain rewards that they can get from our school-wide Stang store, and those are able to be used any Friday. So once they receive those in their folder, then they're able to use those any Friday that they choose after that. It doesn't have to be within the month. They can use it anytime, but then they'll be earning more rewards as they're displaying those expectations. We also have team rewards, so where they sit in class, they're on teams, so they're always working to do that, and they vote that what that reward will be. We set a goal, and they're earning those points. And then they get class rewards as well. So if we earn a compliment in the hallway, or for instance today we had our apple rotations, and if they earned a compliment from those teachers as they moved around the different classes, they earn a marble. We have a jar, and we're filling that jar up with marbles, and so once it hits the line, then we've already, we'll have voted on a class reward, and we are able to do that. So they're working as a team. Now within the class, we also do have an area that if they have to stop and think, if there's a way that they have not made a good choice and not met the expectations of being responsible, respectful, or safe, then they're going to have to put their name over in that area, and they're going to have to stop and think about it. They give me 5 minutes at recess, and I pull them privately, and we talk about what can we do now that choice was made, that wasn't the right choice. What can we do moving forward to change that? And so they always have the chance to be able to move back over and earn Stang points, even if we've had to stop and think about what that expectation is that they need to work on. And then on the other side is the Good Learner, which goes along with our school-wide visible learning plan. So like I said, we do a Good Learner cheer. We have a monthly spotlight. The whole school focuses on one of those expectations every month, and then we're looking for students within the class that meet those expectations, and they're spotlighted for that month. Also, I will have spotlights for ones just daily, if they're caught being engaged, if they're caught being inquisitive, if they're giving really good feedback, if they make a mistake and they learn from that mistake, all those things that are part of that Good Learner profile. If they're doing those things, we will have ways to show them. If they're setting and meeting goals, they will come home with like a little goal getter necklace and have you ask them about the goal they met that day. Everything we learn, they know what we're learning about, and they know what it looks like to be successful while we're learning it. So with kindergarten, it can be more tough just because a lot of that is written, but we verbalize it, and we try and use as many picture cues and all the things so that they understand what it looks like to be successful in those areas. And then like I said, if we make a mistake, we grow from it. We give and receive feedback. So in our classroom, they give me feedback. So at the end of whatever I've taught them that day, or if it's kind of like a few days long, or a week or 2 weeks long, at the end of that piece of learning, which in kindergarten we're always building on each other, and we're kind of learning and circling back to a lot of things, but they have a chance to be able to tell me and give me feedback about their learning. So if they don't understand it yet, we talk a lot about yet. The power of yet, that just because I don't understand it right now doesn't mean that I won't. So if they're at a 1, then they will show me, and at the end I'll ask them to give me feedback, and they just hold it right at their chest. No one else is seeing it. So if they don't understand it yet, they will show me. If they're starting to understand it, then they're at a level 2, that they're that they're getting there. They're still practicing. They still may need help. They're not able to do it independently yet, but they're at a 2. A 3 would mean that they're able to do it independently, and they're able to, whatever that skill is, that they're able to do it independently. And then a 4 is that they can do it so well that they feel like they could teach someone else and help them learn. And they're really honest. You would think most of them would all want to be at a 4, but they're very honest about how they feel that they understand something. And so then I tell them that feedback helps me because I need to be able to maybe teach it in a different way. And then we give each other feedback with writing, with our work. They learn to give each other feedback too. And then they have to learn how to receive that feedback. So with our writing, for instance, someone will share their writing and we give positive feedback, and then we give feedback that will help them to do what could they do better next time. And so they're already learning how to take feedback and receive it and use it to make themselves better and their work better. And then they're persistent to meet their challenges, which is part of our learning pit, which is next. And that you may hear your kids talk about, oh, I'm in the learning pit. That when there's new learning, sometimes they feel, especially with starting to read and all those things, they may feel like they're in the learning pit. But it's okay to be in the learning pit. We talk about with new learning, that happens. But we have to learn strategies to get out of that learning pit. And we ask questions, we watch someone else, we may try something new, we're persistent, and that's where persistent to meet our challenges comes in. And we, read lots of stories and lots of do different activities talking about ways that we can do that. Now, I wanted to go over a little bit from both parts of our learning. So with literacy and with math, kind of what that looks like in kindergarten. So literacy is broken up into these different progressions within kindergarten. So phonemic awareness, phonics, spelling, writing, communication, comprehension, and sight words. So sight words, I'll talk about a little bit more in just a second. So I'm going to also send home for those that were not able to come to the orientation. So what our report cards will look like, starting this year, they're going to be on Infinite Campus. This is just a copy of one. We will not be sending home a physical copy. This is just so you can kind of get an idea of what it will look like and what the expectation is. So the ELA part is broken down into these progressions, and there are certain skills that are for certain 9 weeks. So we don't expect them to meet the expectations necessarily of 4th 9-week skill. There will be some students who can, but that is not the expectation so I want you to be able to see what those expectations are for each of those progressions. Now I'll talk a little bit about each of them. Phonemic awareness is identifying and manipulating individual sounds. So, for example, rhyming, hearing the first sound in a word, hearing the last sound in the word, hearing the middle sound in the word, hearing all the sounds in the word, hearing syllables. So, how can you help at home with that? I've sent home a calendar, and every month I will send that home. That's something that you can keep on the fridge, and you're able to just quickly go over. So like on Mondays, it's going to be like the same skill. Tuesdays is the same skill, and it's just going to be different words. So it may be blending words. So you give them the whole word cat, and blending words. You would give them all the sounds in cat.
All right. Anybody available to stuff some?
Sorry, a speaker came on. So blending sounds, you say all the sounds and they're able to blend it together. If I say b-at, that they're able to hear that when I blend that together, it's bat. And then the opposite of that would be segmenting. If I said bat, they could take it apart. B-at. That they can hear the onset and rhyme. So onset is the first sound in the word, b, and the rest of the word is at. and then being able to manipulate, taking sounds away or adding sounds. So as the year goes, the skills get a little bit more difficult on the calendar, but just doing that, I promise you, that is one of the most important things you can do. It builds that foundation for a successful reader, that